Welcome to a special episode of Biz One-on-One, focusing on the cannabis industry. A beneficiary of medical cannabis himself, Hadi Feltham, your grow-to guy, has immersed himself in the science of medical marijuana. As such, he's come to understand and appreciate the importance of the cultivation of cannabis. This has led him to being an expert in the construction of buildings designed to not only grow cannabis, but to grow the plant to achieve desired and specific results. Hadi believes that while recreational consumption is nice, the medical aspect of cannabis is where the industry will really flourish. Interesting perspective, Hadi. Welcome to Biz One-on-One.
Thank you, Randy, for having me.
Now, you come to this industry with many years of experience, and I always find it interesting when I look on LinkedIn and people in the cannabis business, and they have like 20 years experience, 30 years experience. You know, this wasn't legal.
It wasn't legal, and that's a challenge in the marketplace today. When we take a look at what's happening and what's going on, is that there's a disconnect between the corporate world and the cannabis users and growers of the past. So trying to bring those two together to create an ideal situation has created its own obstacles, let's say the least. So for myself, growing up in and around areas where cannabis was grown and used on a regular basis, different associates that I had growing in less than desirable conditions, learned a lot about how cannabis reacted to different environments. So using that information for myself, now in the legal market, it's much easier to translate that.
And how is that going? How is that transition coming along? I mean, I can imagine it's got to be weird.
It's extremely challenging for a lot of different people, and I think the good growers are just going to be coming into the marketplace now. And there's a lot of LPs that are open at this point in time. They have great cultivators, they have great master growers who have the history and technical background on agriculture. But the micro cultivators who are coming into market now, which was legalized and the applications are available through Health Canada as of October 17th, those are the craft growers who are going to come into the marketplace and really have an introduction of the quality flower that we need in order for people to get the full benefits of it.
So you're specializing in the business of growing, building facilities to grow cannabis, but you say that the legalization or the recreational use area is not really what excites you most.
No, and recreational use is going to be a gateway for people to learn and understand a little bit more about how cannabis may react for them. Those who were a little bit timid of going into their doctoring, asking for information because it was an illegal product, may now step forward and tell people what's going on. For myself, I took medical cannabis and I take it for post-concussion issues, head traumas, and as well as arthritis. So I know the medical benefits of it. Other people who are just testing it for the first time, the 45 plus who are testing it again, are now learning the medical benefits of that, and they'll be able to go into the doctors. So from that perspective, the recreational side is good because it opens dialogue. The challenge is that it's going to demean the product that's out there for the medical side, I believe, because it's going to create an environment where the consistency may not be the same because we're looking after a different marketplace where we think the value actually is.
So tell us about what you're doing specifically with your business. Because you're a small business guy, right?
I'm a small business guy, but I'm helping. What I'm doing right now is I'm helping the craft growers enter into the gray, or from the gray market into the legal market, and I'm also helping LPs design buildings that are actually going to produce the cannabis that they're looking for. We are still, and again, I'm not going to say that we know the answers yet because we're still developing formulas on how it's going to work when it comes to air circulation, different dosing formulas, lighting patterns, HPS to LED lighting. There's going to be a conversation for a long time on how those different products work. But what we do is we try and look at the individual company that is looking for a grow facility and meet their required expectations. We have old LPs that are running in several different size rooms, anywhere from a single 800,000 square foot room down to a 40,000 square foot and a 5,000 square foot room. Now, if you're doing the testing and want to produce a consistent product, and you take a product out of each one of those rooms, even though you may have used the same formula and dosing, you may have the same humidity in that room, the air circulation is different. So how does that impact the grow of the plant? How do we, and as we're testing and growing this out, We need to streamline that process and duplicate it so that we can identify exactly what it is that's happening within those different systems to create a duplicatable product.
So tell me about your own personal story. But you say you're using it to great effect for certain of your own health issues. But also, I'm interested in how you got into the business in the first place and what your background was.
Well, actually, it was an interesting story. About 5 years ago, I was on the town of Crossfield council board, and I was a member of the town council. We were doing a little bit of an economic tour around the town of Crossfield and learning a little bit more about what happened there. And at that time, I was very aware that the product that I was getting wasn't what I needed.
And I'm just going to interrupt you for our viewers all over the world. Crossfield being a small town in...
Crossfield is a small town in Alberta.
Yeah.
It's about 3,300 people now.
Right.
At that time, I think we were at 2,800 people.
So you're experiencing a big...
we're experiencing a
population
big
boom.
Yes, we are. And within that case, it's about a half hour north of Calgary, Alberta. So within that area, we were taking a walk through some different production facilities. And again, I was very well aware that the product I was getting was not what I needed. But I didn't want to buy from the gray market or the black market. One, because I know that I have to make sure that everything that I do is above board. So I can't get a product in from a gray or a black market individual, because I want to make sure that if anything were to happen, it's tracked, it's traced, and everybody knows where it comes from. And the biggest challenge right now as the industry is that everybody says that they have the right product. Every construction company says that they know how to build to a cannabis standard. But yet, when you talk to them, they don't understand cannabis. So to design and build a cannabis facility, it's not just about the air exchange, it's about knowing the plants as well. And that's what we're able to provide for myself, is to be able to provide that environment that they can learn a little bit about how construction will actually grow with the plant, rather than trying to match those systems out a different way.
Hadi, the grow-to guy. So if I'm getting in the cannabis industry in a big way, I need to call you.
I'd be here to help.
Yeah, thank you for coming on Biz One-on-One and talking about this fascinating, exploding industry. Thank you, Hadi.
Thank you very much for having me.
You bet.
Appreciate it.